What's up YouTube? My name is Uncle Smokey and this is Uncle Smokey Stock Trades. And before I start this video, I would like to say I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So please take what I say with a grain of salt and do your own DD.
What's going on, guys? So, MetaMaterials today came out with a PR saying that we bought another company. Fan-freaking-tastic, especially the company that we bought, guys. This is amazing technology. And we're going to get to that here in just a little bit. But first, let's get down to the brass tacks. The major question. What is this doing to our stock? What's it doing to our company? What does it mean for the shareholders? Well, there's a lot of loaded answers into this. First and foremost, we're going to refer to the PR for this because there's no better words than MetaMaterials. Secondly, I do have an email out to Market IR, hoping to get some answers, some better answers to further educate everybody and myself so we know absolute. So, MetaMaterials bought the Plasma App LTD in a stock-for-stock transaction valued at $20 million. Plasma Fusion is a first-of-its-kind proprietary manufacturing platform technology which enables high-speed coating of any solid material on any type of substrate. PAL's team is located in the Rutherford Appleton Laboratories in Oxford, UK, which I would automatically assume Themos Kalos is probably going to be the person overseeing a lot of that factory. He'll probably spend a lot of time over there considering he is the founder of MetaMaterials that is on that side of the world. So that would just be my assumption, of course. Who knows? Now, also keep this in mind that the CEO of Plasma Fusion is going to be staying on board. As a matter of fact, he even goes into saying he's very excited to be able to join the MetaMaterials team. They're going to further their relationship down the road, I'm sure. So let's get down to the transaction. MetaMaterials did buy this company for $20 million, but it wasn't like we handed over cash. So that's one of the very good pros. We are still cash liquid. We still have plenty of monies on our hands to be able to push us through that 2024 deadline that we were looking at from the 10K. Ken Rice did say that as of now, we have the monies needed to be able to do so. So that was great that we were able to keep a hold of that money. But what this also did was dilute the stock. So this is about 10.8 million shares that are going to be introduced to the outstanding shares. But that does not mean they're being introduced to the free float. You've got to keep this in mind. These will be continued to be held by the CEO and the people who are getting the benefits of these shares for a said period of time. And I don't know what that period of time is yet. That's one of my questions. And I also don't know if there's a set price that they're going to be allowed to sell at, if they have to wait for a certain dollar amount, or if it is just a time frame. I have heard the time frame could be as little as 6 months and as long as who knows. So we don't know that yet. But so what they've done is 10.8 million shares at the dollar cost average of $1.86 based off the VWAP for the 10 trading days ending on March 31st. The transaction closed on April 1st. So on March 31st, Thursday, they took the price that it traded on the VWAP for 10 trading days. And as you know, that's an indicator. You can set any indicator you want for any time frame. And they took that price and said, this is what we're going to sell it to you at. This is there. Here's your shares, right? We now own your company. So now what that means is it didn't adjust our market cap. We basically traded. We traded. Here, you take this, I take this, we're even. It's an even swap. Okay. And again, they have to hold those shares. So it's not going out into the free float yet. Doesn't mean that it won't eventually. But the one thing you also need to take in consideration is this is less than 10%. This is like 7% of the overall outstanding shares. This is nothing to be concerned about, in all honesty. This is kind of like just a mass amount of warrants being exercised, basically, and then sold off. That's how you could look at that. Now, what I do want to know is, and this is one of my questions that are in the email, is where did these shares come from? Did they create them from new shares just out of the blue? Or did they take them from that offering shares? You know how we have that $100 million in offering available that we can just at the market offer at any time? Did it get pulled from that? Was that some of that got transferred over? And if it is, that's extremely bullish for us, because now that takes that available offering down to $80 million, not $100 million like it was before. And with that $20 million transfer, we kept all of that money. We didn't lose anything. It was a trade for trade. So back to the stock for stock merger definition. All right, so when the merger of a stock for stock, the acquired company proposes payment of a certain number of its equity shares to the target firm in exchange for all of the target's company shares. Now, PAL had no shares, so they're taking all of their assets, all their equity. Provided the target company accepts the offer, which includes a specified conversion ratio, the acquiring company issues certificates to the target's firm shareholders, entitling them to trade in their current shares for rights to acquire at a pro rata number of the acquiring firm shares. So 1 for 1. The acquiring firm issues new shares, adding to its total number of shares outstanding. So it was absolutely dilutive to provide shares for all the target firm's converted shares. So an at the market offering is also dilutive. And that's why I'm having this question, was it pulled from that? This action, of course, causes the dilution of the current shareholders' equity, since there are now more total shares outstanding for the same company. Now, listen closely. This is the important part. However, at the same time, the acquiring company obtains all of the target's firm's assets and liabilities, thus effectively neutralizing the effects of the dilution. Should the merger prove beneficial and provide sufficient synergy, the current shareholders will gain in the long run from the additional appreciation provided by the target company's assets. All right, so that right there just explained to you definition what I was saying. We gathered up all of their stuff, and it's basically a fair trade. Now, why did the stock run 10% today? Well, it was in the wording. The way this was written, it was giving a very good guidance into the future for what this acquisition is going to do. This is a strategic acquisition for Meta, pairing the best nano patterning technologies with the best coding technology. Plasma Fusion is a versatile coding platform technology which we believe will improve our existing manufacturing processes, expand our IP portfolio, and open new markets, said George Palikaris, president and CEO of Meta. Meta, the real Meta, the first Meta. As we scale our operations, Meta is committed to investing in more sustainable technologies that reduce costs and increase volumes of our metamaterial applications. We have had a great relationship with PAL since 2019, 3 years, and I am excited to welcome its founder, Dr. Dmitry Yarmolich, to Meta. We expect Plasma Fusion to enable Meta to deliver new solutions at unprecedented scale and cost with semiconductor accuracy and quality. That is forward guidance. That is bullish information. That will create a 10% stock rise on anything. That was beautifully written, beautifully done. Also, you've got to look at what it is. You're now going to be able to take this technology and transfer it into Meta. Okay, fantastic. All right, so sorry about that. I had to go see what was going on. My dog started barking and wouldn't stop. So I'm going to cut this a little bit short. I want to go ahead and just jump right into the stock right now. Let's talk about what happened. Look at the short interest real quick, and let's get out of here. It's really late. I got to go to bed because I got work in the morning. So today we lifted 10%. Fantastic. That's expected on good PR. The guidance that we got inside that PR was all the reason you needed to see investors want to step into this stock. And I don't think we're done yet. We bounced off of a very key level of resistance. And this is a loading zone. As you can see, I drew up a yellow block right here. This goes across the entire board. And we're going to look at that right now. We're going to pull out to the 24-hour time zone and take a look. So every time we get into this loading zone right here, we have major pops. We go here, we dropped at 2. Come back down below it. We get back into it. Look at that. Ran back to 2. Back down into it. Ran back to 2. We drop below it on a short attack. Now remember, there's a lot of market geopolitical issues happening during all of these major red bars, as well as a lot of shorting happening. But every time we get back into this and we give it a little bit of consolidation inside of it, some support inside of it, it picks up volume and it launches. Come back down in here. Geopolitical issues, consolidate for a little while, bounce off a key level of support, launch. We get into this zone and it goes again. So again, it's just showing that this is a very good demand zone, a buy zone. And the shorts are doing a damn good job at trying to keep us out of it. So I do feel like this was a crucial point that they were pushing us down below. I think tomorrow we might actually see us get into this buy zone. If not, then expect a pullback, but I would doubt it. You know why? Look at this. Look at this. Golden cross in the MACD right there. There is 1, 2 big old green histogram bars. RSI is sitting beautifully neutral at 50. Again, golden cross there. Histogram's over the signal line. It's pushing hard towards that histogram line. If we can get back over that histogram line, who knows what could happen at that point? That's when major buying volume will step in, and it shows great trend reversals. Now, again, we are on a long time frame here. We always like to do that because we're all meta longs. Let's pull back. This is the 1 day time frame. As you can see, I've got my time zones here. We are currently sitting in between the 13 and 21 time frame. This is a very volatile time frame from what I can tell in all of my research. We should actually see some decent pops in this time frame from 13 to 21. It might be one big pop. It could be several small pops. I don't really know. Again, the stock market's a fickle, funny beast, and you don't really know. Anyhow, I'm done really talking about this right now. Overall, I think we had a great day, but there was a level of manipulation. Let's go ahead and get to that right now. Let's move on over to Ortex. So, Ortex, currently we're sitting at 100% utilization. We have been there for quite some time, at least 3 weeks now. We've been sitting at 100% utilization. Cost to borrow has been steadily moving up. This is the average on a T2 delay, 6.04% cost to borrow, and the average days to cover all of the shares on loan is 8.42 days. There's currently 48.8 million shares on loan, and that is 19.9% of the free float. Ortex is showing that the NASDAQ has reported the short interest has come down a smidgen. Nothing much to worry too much about. 40.11 million shares currently being reported as short, and that is 16.22% of the overall free float. Now, keep this in mind, that is not an exact number. Their numbers are not completely accurate because they don't factor in all of the shares that are held long institutionally as subtracted from the outstanding shares. Greg McCabe holds a very large number of shares institutionally on top of his personal shares that he holds of metamaterials. Greg McCabe Petroleum holds something like 17 million shares roughly. So again, you'd have to subtract that number off plus any of the funding, funds, ETF funds like that. You'd subtract those numbers off because they're not shorting the stock. They're generally long holders as well. So just take that for what it is. Also, we cannot ever forget MMAX, guys. That's going to be a huge factor in this play as well. So just keep all of those factors in there when MMAX converts. That there is like 70 million shares of just insiders, confirmable insiders, that would be converting to MMAT, holding those shares long. Just keep that in mind on how real this really is. Free float gone at that point. We don't matter. Retail literally doesn't matter at that point. What we hold is just a freaking bonus. Bonus! Yeah. Anyhow. So the cost to borrow at any given time today, this is intraday numbers right here, was 15.41% max, 13.25% average, 5.1% minimum today, intraday. Also, take a look at this. Even though we were up 10% today, that still made these short positions want to borrow 2 million shares. 2 million shares pulled right down. They're scared. The reason why, again, like I said, we hit that zone. Those 2 million shares were coming right in here, right in here. They don't want us to get in here. There's a reason for that. Buy zone. That's why. Back over the old internet. So I do find that quite interesting that they did borrow an additional 2 shares and only returned a few shares. Moving on over to Fintel. And please forgive me for this being a crazy video. Voices get a little raw. And we did this for 2 hours already. If you really want a good video, you want to get a good laugh, go watch that live stream I did earlier. We had a ball in that. That was a great time, guys. 88.93 out of 100 on the short squeeze score. We know that's irrelevant to us right now. We're not there yet. We don't want to squeeze from this level. We want to get up there a little bit higher. And George is doing a great job of getting us there organically. This is really going to work out for us. I do truly believe that. Gamma squeeze score. We're going to get to that right now. Gamma squeeze score, 84.25 out of the 100. 266 out of 376 stocks on this. That's because there's not that many stocks that are rated for a gamma squeeze. Currently, 60,000 shares are available to be lent from a leading prime brokerage. And the dark pools are showing a 9.35% short borrow fee. So, talking about that short squeeze, we are coming up on the expiration. That is going to be next week. Options expiration for the 14th. And take a look at this options chain, guys. Ignore the other months right now. They're irrelevant. They don't matter at the present moment in time. We want to take a look at what's happening in the now. So today we had crazy volume in the options chain. Just in these 2 strikes, in the $2 and $3 strike, you had 3,000 in volume. Currently sitting at 11,657 in open interest at the $2 strike and 16,663 at the $3 strike. That is absolutely amazing. This is just really lightening up. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to have this monstrous gamma squeeze that's going to create all these shares to cover. No. But what it does mean is that we are going to be able to see a little bit of volatility push in, which might actually create enough triggers for FOMO to kick in. Just enough. And if that's the case, it could put us to the next level. I'm not saying we're going to go to the moon, but we might at least get onto the launching pad. That would be great, right? That would be nice. I'm tired of standing at the bottom of the steps. All right. So, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to cover today in this video. Maybe, perhaps. No, it's not. Okay, 46.66% of the overall volume on the FINRA was short volume. Take a look at Chart Exchange. 51.67% of the overall volume today, and we don't have it all yet. This is just as of now. Let's hit refresh. See if we got all the accurate information. Oh, even more. 53.58% of the overall volume today was short. They were trying and they were failing, not succeeding. We've got this in the bag, guys, and I do believe that George definitely has us set up for the future. I think that this is going to blow soon. The only thing I can tell you guys is be convicted. If you're not convicted, watch the levels. I mean, seriously, I give you lines, I give you levels of support and resistance. Those are key levels. If you bought in at a low dollar price and you don't know what you're holding and you're just in it for the trade, you're probably watching the wrong channel. Because that's not what I'm here for. I'm in it for the long haul. I know most of you are too. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you really wanted a good time, go check out that live stream. Otherwise, make sure you're liking and sharing my videos. I'm not seeing a whole lot of movement in my videos. They're not coming up to the tops of the metamaterials videos. I mean, I'm being beaten by people with like 300 views. And I'm going to tell you straightforward. I don't give a damn about the views. What I care about is the information that's being provided. I don't like being beat out by a guy who's day trading metamaterials. That sucks. That's horrible. Day trading a stock like this, you know, when we're fighting for the manipulation end of it, that doesn't help us in any way. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Like and share. That's all I ask for you guys to do. Otherwise, you want to find me on the smoke ring, you can. That's up to you. There's a link in the description of this video. Peace.